What's up, boys? Taking a look at some more player props today over on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, my favorite website to go ahead and take a look at some player props. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. Got an earlier game today at 5 o'clock, and then we got the normal like 7 o'clock slate. I think there's like 6 games today, so it's an okay slate. We'll see how it turns out at the end of the day, though. So I think it might be kind of a weird one. So we'll go ahead and talk about some of these player props here. If you guys are already on PrizePicks, highly recommend joining. If you guys are already on PrizePicks, use code DOMG when you guys do go ahead and sign up. They match your first deposit 100% up to $100. So great reason to sign up. They're also doing a Super Bowl 56 promo, which just seems to be pretty cool. There's going to be some different challenges that we have to go through, and if you guys make it to the end, you complete like I think like 6 or 7 challenges, you have a shot to win $5,000, which is pretty freaking good. So yeah, pretty good promo going on in PrizePicks. They do cool stuff all the time. Definitely recommend joining. Available in most states. Use code DOMG when you guys do go ahead and sign up. A bunch of you guys have been using it. Seriously do appreciate it. But then also make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. Seriously does help me out as well. And turn post notifications as well. But yesterday on the Patreon, we were doing really good for the most part. We finished the day 6-3, so that was pretty good. But the Trailblazers absolutely screwed us. If CJ McCollum could have made one shot, we would have been insanely profitable yesterday. And instead he missed on it. So we got screwed on a Simon's assist and a McCollum to score one more basket. So we got really screwed yesterday, which really sucked. But we had a good day overall, 6-3. Just couldn't capitalize on some of the power plays because of the Trailblazers. So that kind of sucked a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of these here. Yesterday on the video, though, to recap on that, wasn't very good either. We were 2-3, but this is why I always say to go ahead and lock in your lineups later, because Kyrie Irving ended up moving from 4.5 assists to 6 assists because James Harden was ruled out like completely randomly almost, it felt like. So that's why I always say to submit your entries like I do, usually like about an hour before game time is what I usually like to do. Because he got moved to 6 after that, and he ended up having 6, so that kind of sucked. Kevin Porter had an injury or breathing issues or something, so he only played a couple minutes, so he didn't get to finish that, so that was why 2 of them lost. And Maxey at 18, we had him under 16.5. I believe what the 2 favorites were, though, was Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists, and Horford over 6.5 rebounds, and both of those hit, so that was pretty good. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the player props for today. Got all the recap out of the way. All right, but all links in the description, by the way, for the Patreon, the PrizePicks, and free Discord link as well. So if you guys want to check those out. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these player props today. And let's hop into the first one here. So we got a point prop right now. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about Jimmy Butler right here. So Jimmy Butler, he's at 20.5 points. He's due for a get right game here. So he has not been shooting very well at some points. So 3 out of 5 in his last 5 games, though, 23.6. Those are his last 2 games right there. But if you take a look more into it, Jimmy Butler, he's 3 out of 10 in his last 10 games, I believe. So he definitely needs to get right game here. He's 53% this season. He had 32 in his last matchup versus the Charlotte Hornets. So very fast-paced matchup here for Jimmy Butler. And I think he can definitely get it done in today's game, especially after dropping 32 last time. So it's a 3-point spread, 228 over-under. And let's take a look at the small forward going against these Charlotte Hornets here. This tool is called Fantasy Pros Defense versus Position. This is called Rotowire NBA starting lineups. So let's take a look at small forward here going against the Charlotte Hornets, and they are definitely on the easier side defensively against the small forward. So it's a pretty good matchup for Jimmy Butler to go ahead and hit this over, it's looking like. We take a look at the last 7 games, though, and see where the Charlotte Hornets are at. And they are still kind of in the same spot a little bit defensively to the small forward position. So kind of liking a little bit here for Jimmy Butler to hit this over. So these are always really early entries, by the way. So do keep that in mind. Like, I only played 1 play on the Patreon yesterday, and that was Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists, which did end up hitting. So just keep that in mind. I mean, I recommend waiting to enter your lineups. Always do more research than just this video, because these are early. I record these at like 11:30 in the morning, and the games don't start until like 7 o'clock at night, some of them. Other times 10. So just do keep that in mind. Do your own research all the time, because a lot of things change throughout the day. Like, I ended up hopping off the other 4 yesterday from the video, so just always happens. Do your own research. But let's go and take a look more into this now. Let's hop into a first half prop. We got our boy Mitchell Robinson, man. So we got Mitch Robinson here at 4 points today, I do believe. Yeah, 4 points, and they actually have game logs now for the first half, which is pretty sweet. So 4-point spread here against the Lakers, or not 4-point spread, but he's at 4 points against the Lakers today. I was originally worried about the AD matchup, but some people in the Discord kind of calmed me down on that one. And so I think I'm going to rock Mitchell Robinson tonight. We'll see. But he's got 10, 5, 6, 2, and 8 in his last 5 games. 6.2 average in his last 5. We'll take a look at this on Statmuse. But he's 9 out of 10 in his last 10 games. He had 4 in his last matchup, which was in 2020 versus AD. And that was only in 10 minutes, I believe. So we'll take a look at all that. But we'll take a look at this game here. 2.5 point spread, 212 over under. Center going against the Lakers. We'll take a look at that. But AD hasn't been playing the entire year, so this could be a little bit skewed here, but a little bit on the easier side. If we take a look at the last 7 games, though, this might give us a little bit of a better look against AD, and they're actually kind of on the easier side of the centers. So what they were saying in the Discord today was maybe AD isn't the greatest against opposing centers, and I don't know, maybe that's definitely true. We'll take a look here at Mitchell Robinson. First half game log. So Mitchell Robinson first half game log here on Statmuse. This is all of his points. So he only needs 4 to push. And if you take a look at all these numbers here, he's been killing this. So it's like up here is to where he was like 9 out of 10 in his last 10 or somewhere around there. And he hit all the way down to here. So last time he missed this, besides against the Heat, was on the 26th. Otherwise, he has not missed since this game against the Pacers. So which was January 4th. So he's gone almost a month without missing this more than one time. So he's in a pretty good spot, I'm thinking. But we'll take a look at first half game log versus AD. So we take a look now at versus Anthony Davis. So yeah, he's got, whoops. Aw, crap, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go by date. So the most recent matchup was 1/22/2020. He had played 10 minutes and he had 4 points. So it's 2020. Can't really go off of that, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe he's in a pretty good spot. I think I might take Mitchell Robinson tonight over 4 points. All right, let's hop in and talk about the other 3 now. Let's talk about a rebound prop. All right. Oh, I forgot to say, by the way. Oh, never mind. Yeah, never mind. Disregard that. Let's talk about Jrue Holiday. So we got Jrue Holiday rebounds real quick. So 4.5 rebounds is what he is currently at. He's hit 5 out of 5 in his last 5. 5.2 average in his last 5 games. But he's hit, out of his last 10, 6 of those games were 5 rebounds. So this is going to be more than likely a pretty big sweat here. So 8 out of 10 in those last 10 games he's hit. But 6 of those games were 5 rebounds. So yeah, he's hit the 60% this season though, and he's a minus 138 to hit this over. So that's a very, very good look, the minus 138. So I don't believe he has played Portland yet this season. But 10.5 point spread, there's major blowout potential right there. So kind of be a little bit worried about that. Jrue Holiday is kind of on the older side. I think he's like 31 years old, but 228.5 over under. So let's take a look at point guard rebounds versus the Trailblazers. So Trailblazers point guard rebounds, they are kind of in the middle right there. 6.39 is what the number is. I like paying attention to usually where they rank among other teams. I guess they're kind of on the harder side, I guess. Yeah, probably around that 20th range matchup for point guard rebounds. So if we take a look at the last 7 games, though, rebounds, and Portland Trailblazers, man, they're on the second most rebounds to the point guard position in the last 7 games. So this could be a very, very good spot for Jrue Holiday, especially compared to how they've been rebounding the ball lately to the opposing point guard. So I think it could be a pretty good spot for Jrue Holiday, but again, it might possibly be a pretty big sweat. But he's a minus 138 to go and hit the over, so maybe he hits this with ease. You never know, man. So, okay. Let's go ahead and talk about another player prop here. And let's talk about Wendell Carter rebounds. So, got an earlier prop for you guys today for Wendell Carter. I was debating between him and Mo Bamba, and I think I'm going to go with Wendell Carter here. He's got the better odds to go ahead and hit these rebounds here. So, that's what I ended up going with against Memphis. So we'll take a look at the matchup and all that, because I think Wendell Carter could definitely be a better spot to grab some rebounds compared to Mo Bamba. So we'll talk about it a little bit here. But, all right, so he's 6 out of 10 in his last 10 games, 61% this season, and he's a minus 128 to go ahead and hit the over. So pretty good spot right there, 18, 8, 14, 11, and 9 in his last 5 games. All right, let's take a look here at the Magic. So power forward going against the Memphis Grizzlies, 7.5 point spread, 225 over under. So power forward here going against the Memphis Grizzlies. So Memphis, did I miss them or no? No, I didn't miss them. So they're actually kind of on the harder side here for some rebounds to the power forward position, I guess. 8.99 is the number. But actually that was the last 7 games. So okay, because I was wondering, because I was checked earlier. And the power forward, they're a lot easier rebounds wise. As you guys can see right here, Memphis is on the easier side season long to power forwards, but recently they've been pretty good. And if you take a look at center, which is what Mo Bamba is going to be starting as, Wendell Carter will get a lot of reps at center more than likely, so do keep that in mind. But Memphis is definitely on the easier side against Mo Bamba today, or at least the center position, so kind of Wendell Carter as well. If you take a look at the last 7 games here, Memphis kind of in the middle, a little bit on the harder side, so that's kind of what I'm thinking here is go Wendell Carter over rebounds. That's what I might do. We'll see how we end up playing that. So yeah, definitely take a look at some of these player props, go a little bit more in depth on them. But let's take a look at one more here. We're going to go with a 3-point make. It's going to be an under on Macau Bridges. So Macau Bridges here, averaging 1.4 in his last 5 games. We need him to have 1 or less if he's going to hit the under here. So 2, 1, 2, 2, and 0. So 3 out of 5 here in his last 5 games. If you take a look at more games, though, he's 5 out of 10 in his last 10 games. 45% this season. He had 0 in the first matchup. And in last season, he had 1 in both matchups. So he hasn't hit this year or last season. So far against Washington. So let's take a look here at Macau. So small forward going against the Washington Wizards. It's an 8-point spread, 220 over under. So we said small forward, right? Yeah, we did. Small forward here, 3-point makes. All right. Small forward, 3-point makes. Washington. So they're allowing the second least amount of 3-point makes to the small forward position so far this season. So it's looking like a really tough matchup for Macau Bridges to go ahead and hit these. And he had 0 in the first matchup this season. So I'm thinking it could be a pretty good spot for Macau Bridges to go ahead and hit this under. But again, always do your own research. And I recommend waiting to put in some of your entries for tonight. But that's going to do it for today's video, man. I appreciate watching. It's a longer one. I'm trying to be more in depth. If you guys couldn't tell in the intros, kind of, I don't know, give you guys a little bit more, kind of be discreet and give you guys everything that happened in the video yesterday, the Patreon, all that different stuff. And so you guys can kind of get a feel for that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video, man. I appreciate watching. If you was new, if you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn post notifications. If you guys are on PrizePicks, highly recommend joining. Use code DOMG when you guys do go ahead and sign up. Again, match your first deposit 100% up to $100. And that Super Bowl promo comes out tomorrow, I believe. So you have to opt in today. So check your email from PrizePicks and yeah, go ahead and sign up and opt in if you guys wish for the Super Bowl promo that they're doing. So yeah, that's going to do it, and I'll see you guys next time.